Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Geekcamp. So we are going to continue on the vein, and we're doing this for really two sides of a coin, which we'll talk about. Today, we're going to focus on our countdown to our Create Continuity Challenge and what we're doing. And the goal of this and what we did yesterday on Geek Talk and what we may focus still on the workshop tomorrow for our Geek Out Academy members is how do you leverage the tools that you have in order to drive traffic and increase the likelihood of people coming to your challenge? Because, the more people that we can get to the challenge, the better, in order to be able to have an increased likelihood of getting people into your program at the end and continuing on with you. So I thought, what better way than to continue to go behind the scenes today and talk to you guys about some of the work that Susan and myself and Dan and Nicole are doing in order to prep for our challenge. So one huge thing that's happening, which I'll just mention, and we'll probably have a post on this one, and that is we are planning, it's a 2-day challenge, and we are planning both days in terms of what kind of stories and what will the flow of those be so that we can take people on a journey during those 2 days and get something out of it. And it's not just necessarily us talking at people, but they actually walk away with the things that we want them to walk away with, namely a blueprint for their continuity. Like, what is going to be their continuity plan so that whether they continue with us to learn how to build it, or they can take that exact same blueprint to anybody else and go do it, we want that to be true. So hi, Julie. Thanks for joining us. You're a new name. So glad. I love it. Welcome. All right. So this again is going to be revealing behind the scenes what we're doing to prep for the continuity challenge. So, or Create Continuity Challenge. So, and if you guys are not familiar yet with the Create Continuity Challenge, and because we are Geek Out 2.0, our setup right now on Create Continuity Challenge is the funnel for Create Continuity Challenge is on 2.0. And we went over that a little bit yesterday. So if you're interested in how we did that funnel setup, I would encourage you to go check out our Geek Talk from yesterday. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see what we're talking about. So this is the Create Continuity Challenge. It is in 2.0. It is free for anybody to register. So fun. And I'll go ahead and put it in the chat and you guys can see that up on screen. Okay. So we have this 2-day challenge. It's coming up. It's right around the corner, July 19th. So what does that give us? It's, about 13 days. 13 days until the challenge. So what we're really focused on is getting the word out and making sure that people know about it. And if it resonates with what they're working on right now, we want them to be able to join us. So, and of course, to all of our Geek Out Academy members, they get automatic free VIP. So we definitely want to make sure they know about it so that we have many of our members who are focused on their continuity journeys right now. And we want to make sure that they have the resources that they need in order to continue on that path. So our job is to increase awareness. So we have the funnel built. We have the basic workflows all set up. We're doing our funnel in 2.0. We have a workflow in 2.0, but the majority of our email campaigns we're going to handle through Active Campaign. And the reason we're doing Active Campaign is because it's still a little bit more reliable. We do some sophisticated stuff with automations and custom data fields on contacts, which you just can't do in 2.0 yet. Not really. So we send everything over to Active Campaign. Okay. So we have that all flowing and we have our weekly newsletter as normal. So we're going to get that out tomorrow, and everybody who is on our email list is going to get the newsletter. Inside the newsletter, we're going to talk about the Create Continuity Challenge. So that's all set and ready to go with normal communication. But as we're leading up to this 13-day window, we're in that 2-week sprint, right, of a pre-marketing campaign. And so we want to make sure that, and hello, I see hey, Andrea, great topic. Okay. And all I see is Facebook user. So let me try to get in on my thing here so I can see you. Okay, cool. So you have to give me your name for who said great topic, because yes, I would love to give you a shout out as my mobile is loading. So, okay. So we have our normal email, all of that stuff. We are also going to start a secondary email campaign. Soon as Susan is working on that now, but it is so drop dead easy to do this with ChatGPT. Now, hey Betsy, awesome. So there is with ChatGPT, if you are just starting and you are overwhelmed with the copy, I would say release yourself from making it perfect and just use ChatGPT in a way I'm about to show you. Now, one thing that ChatGPT is not great at, and Susan and I keep kind of working through and massaging, how can we make it better at this? And even Nicole has something in the works with prompts, which is just so exciting. What ChatGPT is not yet really great at is creating a story that will help your readers come along with you on the journey. So we are trying to add a little bit into that, but because just the time crunch and where we need to spend our time is more on outreach, we're not investing a huge amount of time on that front, but we know that we need it to get better. And so we know that it's future, but just to be able to get the word out, make sure people know on our list, right? Then we're doing this. So if you go into ChatGPT, and again, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to make an email sequence that I want to go out every single day from now until the day of the challenge. And I know that on the last day before the challenge and the morning of the challenge, we want to send out double emails. About usually on average between 85 to 95% of people who sign up, they sign up in the last 24 hours before the event. That's pretty consistent that I have seen in most of the challenges that I've done. So definitely want to increase the number of emails that you're sending out the day or 2 days prior to the event. Okay. So that's what I do right now in ChatGPT is I'm going to focus on getting the drip emails from now until the challenge so that I can get those done and then we can program those out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is and I don't do a lot, like you can do so much more with prompts. And if Winter is watching, he'd probably be like, you could do this, but I'm going to show you guys just the bare minimum, bare basics. I can get this emails created in probably within an hour. I can already have it programmed and ready to go. So what I would do is I would say you are my copywriter and you are going to help me write a daily email sequence from now until July. I'm going to come over to my challenge registration and I'm going to go ahead and just go Control A. I'm going to copy everything on the screen, copy. All right, July 19th. So sequence from now until July 19th to invite my leads to a 2-day challenge the Geek Out group is hosting. Here are the details of the challenge. Use a funny or use a fun, I'm going to say use a geeky and witty voice and tone. Okay. And then I'm going to paste all of those details and then I'm going to hit return. Okay. So now it's going to take just a second. And it's going to pump out every single one of the emails. Now, if we were doing text, which we keep going back and forth on whether we want to do text or not, our current text choice that we recommend is Sales Messenger. Thank you, Greg Dinkins, who gave us that suggestion. We've recently moved over to that as a software of choice, and it is really good. We've really been happy with it. So if I was doing a text messaging with this, I would say an email and a text for every day. Because it's an invitation though, and you buy text based on credits, sometimes you don't have the capital to invest that much, especially if like our list is about 1,500 now, right? So we, which isn't huge, but I don't know that I necessarily want to pay for text messaging for all of that. So we may just do text messages like tomorrow and then next week, the last 3 days leading up to the challenge, right? So if you're trying to just save a little bit of money, you can do that. Okay. So I copied and pasted the sales page, and now ChatGPT is doing its thing. And so bada bing, bada boom, this is amazing. Email 1, which is on July 6th today. Don't miss out. An epic Geek Out challenge is on the horizon. Now, usually with ChatGPT 4, it's pretty good in terms of adding emojis, which we know really help in terms of email engagement. And for whatever reason, it's not adding emojis on this one. So what I may do is I may take a quick look, like, okay, so don't miss out. An epic Geek Out challenge is on the horizon. And then greetings, Geek Squad. And again, we can't use Geek Squad because that's Best Buy. So it happens to us a lot. So I might have to train it to be like, switch out Geek Squad, and just call our people geeks because that's what we affectionately call them. So, but here we go. And I love this. Your mission, should you choose accept it, is to step into the digital universe and equip yourself with skills needed to translate your expertise into an engaging and valuable digital format. Okay, that's all great. So this basically what I would do is I would copy this. And Susan and I keep working, like, how can we work together on, when her and I are working in ChatGPT? It'd be so cool if there was like a team folder over here so we could see each other's prompts. But for now, what we do then is I would just open up Drive. I would drop this into a Google Doc. And then basically I just click on that paste button and then it's already there to go. And then what we can do is just simply take that and add that into an email automation in ActiveCampaign, which I'll show you in just a second. So this is where, okay, so I would copy that and it copies everything, obviously, and then you could take it and run with it over an ActiveCampaign. So what I would do is, again, I would probably spend a little bit more time tweaking, but for now, just for the purpose of Geek Camp, I'm going to show you how I would take one of these. The other thing I noticed too on this is that it doesn't have a pre-header text. We know that pre-header text and adding them to your emails significantly increases the likelihood that somebody's going to open it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, great, now rewrite. We're going to do one more iteration. Rewrite these and add emojis. Change everywhere you say Geek Squad and just say geek. And add pre-header text to each email. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. And what pre-header text is it's that little bit that shows before they open the email to bring them in and to hook them in, right? It's a really nice topic, or it's a really nice technique in order to increase email deliver or email open rate. So, okay, we're going to go ahead. Let's check out what it gave us. And there we go. Okay, it's giving me pre-header text, email 1, unleash the inner geek, embrace the digital universe, level up your skills. That's not bad. It doesn't mention continuity, which we know is really important, but for now, I mean, it's not bad. It gave me some emojis. Awesome. Love the geek. Yep, that's great. Okay, it's doing its thing. That's fantastic. All right, so while it's doing its thing, the next thing that we would come over here and do then is I would open up our ActiveCampaign. And again, all of our emails are in our ActiveCampaign. So I would come over to automations. And inside of the automations, I would go ahead and create a new automation. Now, just a note on ActiveCampaign. And we've had a lot of learnings and teachings on ActiveCampaign. I think I'll have more. And if you're in the Geek Out Academy, in our new membership area, there's a library of all of these topics. So you can always reference them. In general, the biggest mistakes that I see with ActiveCampaign, Keep, any of these that you're using is you want to use a 1 or 2 list strategy, meaning all of your contacts are on one master list, not a million lists, right? If you have a million lists, it is a surefire recipe for disaster. Instead, you want 1 list, maybe 2 max if you're doing a two email strategy with buyers and non-buyers. But I usually go 1 list and then you manage everything through tags and custom fields. So that's the first mistake that I see a lot with ActiveCampaign. The second mistake that I see, not a mistake, but a practice that a lot of people have, is they use campaigns, meaning like one-off emails to send stuff, which When you're doing newsletters, it's not bad. Or if you truly only have a one-off email, it's not bad. But I would encourage you to default to using automations over campaigns. Automations are much more powerful, and the data that you get from them, especially in this case, I want to compare my email 2 and my email 1. Was the open rate, is it dropping or is it staying steady? And so I want to be able to see that all in one automation and or in one data flow. And so putting it in one automation allows me to do that. Now, if you are in 2.0, up to this point, you can do all these things in 2.0. So if you are still in 2.0 and maybe you have a little bit of a smaller list or you're just getting started, everything that I'm going to show you, you still can do in 2.0 so far. Okay, so I'm going to go to start from scratch because I always start from scratch. And because I know, I want like a blank slate on exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to open this up and I am going to start without any trigger because I'm going to put the whole list of anybody who is not a already buyer and not in our academy. I'm going to put them through this. Okay. So how I normally start, you guys have seen me do this before, but a naming convention. So this is an invitation email. So the customer journey is 0 because these guys have not joined the challenge. So the challenge is a new product to them. Okay, then I'm just going to call it invitation because it's an invitation email. And then I'm going to say invite to create continuity challenge. And then this is in July 2023. Okay, in case we run more. All right, so cool. I got it named. The next thing I do, and this is just a technique that I do, it has helped me so much in troubleshooting. So I highly encourage it. I just always put a 1-year wait on all of my automations. I find it's a lot easier just to go to the automation and see who all went through my automation by using waits instead of doing filters on contacts. And you can do this again in 2.0 as well. All right, so the next thing I would do is I'm going to put an invitation. So I'm going to go ahead and send an email. And then my email name, this is going to be email 1, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and use the naming convention that ChatGPT gave me. So I'm going to call this email 1, July 6th. So we're going to come over here and let's just go ahead and use that same one, email 1, July 6th. And I'm going to use a template that I already have, just so I don't have to do any design work, because I know I have Geek Out templates already in here. Now, if you are old school Active Campaign, you might have a lot of your stuff back in the classic designer. They this year released a whole new designer, so you don't have access to your classic designs in the new designer. So you might find all your stuff back here if you're old school Active Campaign. If you're not though, and you've been using the new designer, you can simply just put in email designer. Okay. Now you can see that I have a lot of Geek Out ones already in here. I'm just going to pick a random one because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to replace everything in there. I'm just using the design. All right, so then the subject, I'm going to come in here and and again, I would have this in a Google Doc. I would have massaged it a little bit, but again, just for the purpose of Geek Camp today, I'm just going to show you. So I literally just copy and paste that right there. Boom, amazing, so easy. I love ChatGPT. And then I'm going to come in here and I am going to, just so I don't forget it, I'm going to grab the pre-header text right there. Okay, on my email 1. And I'm going to go ahead and go in here. And in Active Campaign, where you access the pre-header text is right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that. And it says, unleash your inner Greek, embrace the digital universe, and level up your skills. I would say instead of embrace the digital universe, right? Because we really want them to make embrace the, so maybe it's like embrace your digital continuity. Or something like that. And maybe it's like build your digital continuity or something. That still doesn't really make sense. It's like, maybe it's like create continuity. Unleash your inner Greek. Yeah, maybe we'll just be really simple and just say create continuity. All right. Because that really is the main message, right? And then I'll probably give it a ... There we go. goes from hello geek out. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So now I would just again come into ChatGPT and I would just do this. So easy. Such an easy, good message. And then I would come here and we would say, hey, first name. And we would come here and let's go ahead. And I've noticed too with the new builder in Active Campaign, sometimes it doesn't like shortcut hot. And in this particular case, I don't think I'm going to use the personal first name just because it is more of a generic email. Whenever you can, personalization is always nice. Because I'm going to do this, let's go ahead. Normally, I put my emails in 14 or 16, just especially with old eyes. That's always a nice little gift to people. So, and then it's prepare for liftoff. The countdown has begun. I'm going to go ahead and break that up a little bit just so it's easier. In 48 seconds, ready to warp into action. It's so funny. There's always in this universe, resistance futile. Okay, so it's so funny. Every time we do geeky and witty, they give us way too many Star Trek references. I am a huge Trekkie. I'm okay with that, but we know in the geek community, it's not necessarily associated with sci-fi. It's more associated with your expertise and your unique lens of the world. So we're always having to like tame down the Star Trek references, which is totally fun and fine, but it is funny. So we definitely would like update that and not put that. And then in terms of the link, let's just talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to go to the registration and you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and just grab this. In 1.0, there was these 3 levels of hierarchy. In 2.0, there's really only 2 levels. So there's the funnel level and then there's the step level. If I was going to do an A/B challenge or an A/B test, for instance, like let's say that I wanted to test 2 opt-ins for the challenge, I wouldn't necessarily want to grab this one, right? I'd want to go to my ClickFunnels and grab the link at the top. So that if I did want to do an A/B test, I could do that. But again, for the purpose of Geekcamp, I'm just going to grab that URL right there. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my active campaign and I'm going to go ahead and just a little user experience trick. I would do this, register now, and then not a button because the HTML on the button will hurt your deliverability sometimes. So instead of a button, just say register now. And then I'm going to come up here to my link. And in the new builder, it's over here on the right. We're going to add that. And then I'm going to add a little tag. So I can also do follow-up and know if somebody was like checking it out or interested if they clicked on this link. So this is a super cool feature. I'm going to come in, I'm going to add a tag and I'm going to say lead because it's lead or buyer. Oops, not all caps. So lead and then link clicked is the other nomenclature, right? And then this one is create continuity challenge. Cool. So now I can start to also do like maybe a little bit, turn up the heat a little bit on that traffic who clicked on that link. But now I at least tagged it and I have it and I can do a lot of cool stuff with it from a marketing retargeting perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Amazing. Okay, so then we're going to hit next. And of course, again, I would probably add a little bit more formatting, a little bit size differences on things. But for the most part, this thing is ready to rock. Always turn on Google Analytics because I have that going. And I'm going to go and finish. Now, I could also set a test to myself, which I typically would in that bottom before it's ready to go. And then once it's good, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in that wait 1 day. If you're on a more advanced version of Active Campaign, you can do intelligent targeting, which is the ideal open time for every individual user. It's an amazing feature, but it is priced on their 3rd tier up, which is not usually what I'd want to pay for, right? So I'm just going to do generic wait a day, and then I adjust when they send. Now in 2.0, it does look like it has intelligent sending. at least in the campaigns, which is really interesting. And so we're still playing around with that, but I love that they have that and they're thinking about that. So okay, so now if I wanted to, and I had a super busy day, I could literally just put all my people into this automation and they're just going to hang out here until 24 hours from 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, right? So 4:30 for my Eastern people and then 1:30 for my Pacific people. And so I could just drop people in there. I'd have to turn the workflow on. I'm going to keep it inactive for now. And then I would just simply go to my contacts and I would go here in my advanced search. And then I would say anybody who doesn't have a tag of buyer, so does not exist. I don't want to send it to any of the people who already bought the challenge. Okay. And even though I know it's a little bit of a misnomer with free challenges, it's always hard because technically they are a buyer. But whether they're a lead or a buyer is always, so yeah, buyer continuity challenge. So it doesn't exist, or they don't have the tag of Academy, right? Because all of our Academy members are already registered. And so I want to also do does not exist. All right. And we're going to say Academy. Active Geek Out Academy. Now that active tag is what we were talking about yesterday. We have buyers, we have people who we gifted Academy to because they bought ClickFunnels with our affiliate link. And so we use the active tag to account for the gift and the buyer. We also have a custom field that we can use. So we're playing around with, there's a couple different ways that you can manage it. But for now, we'd probably do it this way. So once we have, okay, anybody who doesn't have either of those tags, I'm going to send everybody through it. So I'm going to go ahead and search. And then once I have that search in place, I would just basically, okay, so not very many. So we're going to edit all. And then this is then what I would say, add to automation. And I would go and I would find that invitation automation. It's not going to be in the list because it's not active right now. But then I would just simply go find it and then put everybody in there. And so that is how then now my email sequence would start to drip in terms of inviting people in. Cool. That's done. I did that in 33 minutes, right? And again, I probably would have spent about an hour just to like all the little tweaks and crossing T's and dotting I's and all that stuff. But ChatGPT just made everything so much doable. So now everybody's getting every day an email talking about the challenge. Cool. So that's that front. That's my email front. Okay. The next front is the social front. This is where we, actually, let me talk about the YouTube front. So we're doing these. I'm live streaming into YouTube right now using my StreamYard. So this is, I'll go ahead and stop sharing. Okay. And so what we do on the YouTube front, and I'll go ahead and pull it up. We have a live stream on our YouTube and we have our videographer who's on our team. He will come in every night or morning, right? Because he's in Thailand. So he'll come in every night or morning and as soon as he sees something that went live. So let me just show you behind the scenes here. My computer. Okay. So if you go, and I'm just going to go to our actual channel. What's the best way to show you? Yeah. Okay. I'll do it this way. All right. So I'm going to go to our channel. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go live. I don't worry about thumbnails. I don't worry about titles. My whole goal is like, I just need to get out there and get the word out there and let people know what we're doing. So that's what we're doing. So we're going live. We're focused on behind the scenes, which helps to be able to get people in there. You can see that right now on YouTube, if I were to come out here, hopefully the sound won't get crazy. You can see that I have this YouTube live going, right? And then there I am. It's going to be very picture in picture. Boom. Okay. So this is just going to post and it's not going to have any of the things that we need on a YouTube front to help the algorithm, like a thumbnail and a title and an end screen. But our video person is going to come in, right? Again, every day he comes in and he just says, okay, what all have we done live? Let's slap a thumbnail and a title and a description on there, and then add an end screen to be able to make that connection. So that's going out there. YouTube is an amazing source of traffic for us. And we're right now like, okay, we're going with good enough, right? So the more important thing is that that's out there. If YouTube can pick up something from this without the thumbnail and the title, great. StreamYard does allow us to add this. So you can see the behind the scenes challenge countdown, focus on traffic. And then I added this, right? Like how the geeks and use group track and email campaigns to let everybody know about the challenges coming, right? So I do this in StreamYard whenever we live. So there's a little bit that YouTube can pick up on, but we always see a spike whenever he comes in and adds the thumbnail and the end screens. So that's happening, right? We're also going live into our prospecting group, our prospecting Facebook group, which is probably where at least half of you guys are watching me from. Right. And so we have Facebook Live for traffic. We have YouTube Live for traffic. And then Dan Havey also has a group with his ninjas that we're going live in there. So through StreamYard, I'm going live into those 3 places to, again, get the word out about the challenge. And we're doing that by talking about behind the scenes because we like to provide support for how do you do these things. And so it goes together really nicely. Okay. The last thing is social. So we, as you guys all know, use Group Track. I have gotten permission from Madison, one of our geeks, to be able to use her in this to demo it. Okay. So in Group Track, I'm going to go over to the Group Track app. So in our Facebook group, we have 1,800 people, right? That only a fraction of them so far. We have, I think, 35, the last I checked, registered for the challenge, which is fantastic. And we're so looking forward to you guys being there. But we still have, 1,770 that are in the group that may want to come to the continuity challenge if they're focused on continuity and how to build it, especially with ClickFunnels. Okay. So we want to make sure that they get the word out. Now, the last thing that we want to do though is be like one of those creepy humans, right? That are like just dropping into your DM and be like, hey, we're doing this thing. Are you interested? Right? So I'm not going to go for the sale right away, right? I'm not going to go for the invite right away, especially because some of these guys we haven't really been in communication with very deeply, right? Especially like if we're looking at our pipeline, which is how warm somebody is and like how far along they are in our world. So the left side, they haven't come into our world very far yet. On the right side, they've come into our world a little bit more, sometimes all the way as a buyer or a client. So if we're looking at the pipeline, all of these stages are helping us to know like where they're at. So for each stage group, which are by the colors, meaning the degree to which we've talked to them and know them, I might send slightly different messages, right? So for instance, the people who were at our after party, right? So we have right here, 29 people here and 7 people here that were a part of our after party. I'm probably going to send them a little bit of a different message because they've already signed up for something with us and we know them. And so I might say like, hey, because you went to our after party, we thought maybe you might also be interested in an upcoming challenge that we have. It's called the Create Continuity Challenge. We would love to have you, or, can I answer any questions if it's something that you're interested in, right? And so that might be a message that we send out to them. And I'll show you how we program that up. Versus if I go all the way back to the beginning of our pipeline, right? For people who they haven't registered for anything, they haven't given us other than joining our group, right? They haven't really participated in anything. They haven't necessarily Warren and Teresa are stuck back here. You guys are, this I think is a bug right now. So anyway, you guys are stuck back there. But they haven't necessarily engaged in anything, right? So they might be a little bit further back. And Zach too, you're doing awesome in terms of engagement. So you're definitely further along. But some of these folks, right, like they've joined, but they haven't necessarily engaged. And so for them, I'm not going to jump right into a conversation to be like, do you want to come to our challenge? We would love to have you. Instead, I'm going to be like, hey, thank you so much for being a part of Geek Out. I want to make sure that you're connected with all the right resources. Is there anything right now, particularly that you're working on that we can help you with? Right? I might just leave it open. I'm not going to sell them the challenge or invite them to the challenge right away if it's not something that I know can help them. And so for these guys, it's more of, I'm just going to start that conversation. Okay. So how do I do that in a really easy way? Because obviously I don't want to sit there and click 52 times to send messages to all these people, or 21 times or 89. So this is where Group Track gets really powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the setup. And inside of the setup here, I'm going to go ahead and start making messages for specifically the challenge. Okay. So you can see here that we had specific messages for a Geek Out after party. All right. So I'm going to create a new template. And this template name, I'm going to call this Geek Out create continuity. I have 2 Facebook profiles. Maybe that's the glitch. Oh, is that you, Warren? And yes, that would be the glitch. Merge your people. There's no split personalities in Geek Out. Okay, so Geek Out create continuity. And actually, and for the purpose of I'm just going to abbreviate this so that it's just simple. So my naming convention. So I know that this message is associated with the Create Continuity Challenge. So I'm just going to say Geek Out CCC. Now, this particular message is going to be for people who I feel comfortable inviting them to the continuity right away because they've already told us somehow, some way that they're interested in what Geek Out does. And continuity is our main thing that we focus on. So I'm going to say this is direct invitation to warm. Okay. Okay, to warm leads. Cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit okay. All right, and so now this is where I had no idea when I was first getting into the Facebook game about Facebook jail and rules about Facebook is always looking to see if you're acting like a human or you're acting like a robot. And if you're acting like a robot, they'll put you into like levels of jail, basically like to freeze your account, right? And it's like initially it's like a slap on the wrist. They'll stop you for a couple hours, and then it like increasingly gets harder and harsher in terms of removing your access and not allowing you to do stuff if you're acting like a robot. Now, things that could get you into acting like a robot is if you send too many messages too fast, and if it's the same message, right? So what Group Check has done so brilliantly is they've added what's called spinners. So in here in the greeting, right? So this is basically the body of the message. I'm going to greet somebody, I'm going to tell them the thing, and then I'm going to close it. So what Group Check has done is they've allowed me to make iterations of the same message so that it spins and Facebook doesn't say like, oh, that's the same message. It's a bot, right? So how this works is I'm going to say, it's first. Okay, so we're going to go first, and then the pipe allows it to spin. So first, and then it could also be, actually, we don't want to say I'll say first. I'll say hi, and then first. And if you need any formatting help, because I always do. Yeah, so right here, it's first, and there we go. So this is what I was looking for. So I'm just going to copy that, and then we're going to modify. All right, so we're going to go ahead and delete that one, and it's going to be hello, hi, what's up? So that pipe in between the curly brackets allows it to spin. Okay, what's up is totally not geek language. We are not quite that informal. So, but we would say hello, hi, hey there, right? And then that would be our spinner on the open. Okay, so cool. So that means that as I'm sending in bulk, it's going to like spin all of them. Oh, Teresa, you have you have split personality. Yes, merger profiles, no split personalities. Okay, so the next one would be messages. Okay, so this is that warm message I was just talking about. So this is going to be like, I've already said hi, hey there, or hello. And this is where I probably want to do a first name. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do this. Let's go curly brackets first. And then I'm going to say, so it'd be like, hi there, Teresa. Because you participated in our Geek Out after party, we thought you might be interested in our Create Continuity Challenge coming up on July 19th. So let's fix that. Our 2-day, because I want to make sure that it's not a big time commitment. 2-day Create Continuity Challenge coming up on July 19th. The goal of this challenge is to help you create your personalized blueprint for a highly engaging continuity program, and specifically a level 1 highly engaging, or level 2, but some people might not know that nuance of the linchpin, so I'll keep it just continuity is the only kind of jargon that I will use. So blueprint for a highly engaging continuity program. We would love to help you get your expertise to the people you serve and leverage the ClickFunnels platform to do it. Okay. All right. And then I gotta leave with a question, right? So, all right, platform to do it. Okay. And then would you, and this is really important, so I'm not going to drop the registration link. And some people would be like, wait, what? You're losing a huge opportunity. No, that's where we get into icky DM, right? That would be like, hi, are you interested in this thing? Here you go, right? That's not a conversation with a human. That's a marketer trying to shove something in my face. You know what I mean? And I'm not interested in that conversation with the people we serve. What I am interested in is if this is genuinely something that you want, then I'll gladly give it to you. But I'm not going to just drop it at your doorstep. And then, if you're interested, great. If not, now we're going to try this technique. And if this technique doesn't work, we can always up our game, right? And do different messages or give resources first. But I'm not going to just necessarily drop the link because we haven't talked to these people from the after party probably in a couple months, right? And so I don't want to just like drop something and then dash, right? So instead, I mean, like, would you be interested in joining the free challenge? And maybe even would you be interested is a little bit too passive. So what I might do, would you like more information? Would you like more information about the free challenge? And again, I'm looking for a hand raised post right now. I'm looking for a conversation starter. I am not looking to be an icky salesperson or just to jump something to them, right? So they get to choose whether they want to engage or not. And then in doing that, hopefully it'll open up a conversation so I can get them into the right resources. Because if they're not interested in the challenge and they join Geek Out for some other reason, we have a ton of other resources that we could give them. And I'm more interested in serving than anything else. So that is the message I would do. And then again, closer to help me not look like a robot. So looking forward to connecting is normally how I sign off. But I might also do another one where looking forward to supporting. Actually, I'll probably just do a thank you for being a part of Geek Out. Something like that, or something like we look forward to supporting you more on your journey, or something like that, right? So again, just like some spinners in there that close. Okay. So now this message is good to go. And this is my GOCCC direct initiative or invitation to warm leads. So again, that's all looking really good. All right. So I'm going to use our wonderful Madison, who should be in our after party because she, I think, had joined that at one point. If not, we will move her there. So we're going to find Madison, our brave soul. Okay, awesome. So she is back. I think some of our Geek Out Academy members accidentally got back into our stage because she's actually an Academy member. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up her contact record. I'm going to get her in the stage for the people who I would be sending this to. So I'm going to go ahead and set her stage and not status. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead. She's already in the Geek Out Academy. She's actually a member right now. So I think this is a phantom contact. Let me go over to Academy and find her. All right. So sometimes there is a duplicate record in Facebook, and that's why those show up there. But we should see her, yep, sure enough, over in Academy. And she's not in trial anymore. She's a full-blown member. So we're going to go ahead and do this. But let's just imagine for a hot second that Madison is not a part of our Academy, and she is an alumni of the Geek Out After Party. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put her in the, let me go ahead and refresh. And she's going to move over to our Geek Out Academy. Awesome. All right. So imagine that I had 20 people in the Geek Out Academy, which is, or in the after party, right? That I want to send that message to. So now that I have the message, all I have to do is go bulk action. And this is where group chat blows your mind, is amazing. I'm going to go ahead and send message. And I have this option available to me because I'm on the middle plan. I'm technically on the pro plan, but so this is now allows me to do that bulk message. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to pick that message. So it was Geek Out CCC right there, direct invitation. Boom. Hey there, first name, because, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and I would select everybody in this column, right? But because we're just doing Madison for the purpose of this trial, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to process and I'm going to send that message to her. And then I would move her to, I have not created the stage yet. I'm going to create a stage saying invited to continuity, the create continuity challenge. Okay. So then I would go ahead and move her. I'd say yes and move the stage, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. So what just happened in the background is, let me go ahead and open up Messenger. And really important to use the web-based version of Messenger. Okay, so right here, right there. Hey, Madison, because you participated in Geek Out, and let me go ahead and, yep, awesome. Okay, so she's telling me other stuff, so let me just hide those other messages. All right, so because you participated in Geek Out, so hello, Madison, because you participated in Geek Out, blah, blah, blah. So it's right there. So she got that message and she can let me know. And then I can also be tracking it. So I see her stage. I see all about Madison. If I hover on her, I'm going to be able to see all of her information over here in the sidebar. So super cool. That's done. It would go ahead and start sending to all of my contacts that I put in the queue. And I could literally walk away right now, go get some coffee, and it would start sending all of those messages out. So now I have emails going out. I have my messengers going out on Facebook. And then I also now can just focus on going live and giving content. So this is how we start to increase the awareness of what's happening on a couple different fronts, on the content and going live front, on the email front, and on the social front, right? So I have all of those out in the world. They're starting to go out. On the social front, now, if Madison were to respond to me, I could then start to go through and do the messenger, right? And start to engage with her in Messenger and answer questions. Or if she also, replied to an email, I didn't do a reply to, but if we had a reply to, it'd be there. Or she could be on this live right now and engaging and saying something. So now we have all of that going out. Okay, so that is how we are prepping for our Create Continuity Challenge. And I saw that, hey, Madison, she gave me a big heart. Cool. Thank you, lady. And thank you for allowing me to use you as a test guinea pig. So that is all now going out and ready to go. And so now what we get to do is, that took me less than an hour to reach out with my traffic strategy. It's the same traffic strategy for every event that I have. So we have an email campaign. We have a live every day or every other day, going out and saying something about it, raising awareness, talking about the topic that we're going to talk about, whatever it may be, and then our social front. And all of those are connected. So we can kind of see who's interested, what are they asking, how can we adjust? And now we have 13 days that we're going to continue to do that in order to reach out, ask questions, and get as many people to the challenge as we can, because it's going to be a great challenge. And we're really looking forward to helping people with their continuity. So that is Geek Camp today. I'm going to transition just for a hot second on logistics. So Susan and I were talking yesterday, and what came to my awareness that if you are not in the Academy, these are available in our Facebook group. Now, we all know that Facebook can kind of be a hot mess of just a dumping ground of stuff. We do in our Facebook prospecting group, We use Group Track to try to connect people to the resources through DM, right? You can also use guides if you want to. And if you go into our guides in our Facebook prospecting group, you can see some of those. On our Academy side, we of course want a nice, fancy, schmancy membership area, which we are so close to having that. But we also have guides over there. It came to my attention yesterday that some of these geek camps and the workshops are not available on the guides for our academy. So if I have any academy members, Teresa, Madison, I think I had a couple more, I will get better. I promise all of you at getting these recordings into our Geek Out Academy for easy reference. They are always in this Facebook group, but I know sometimes they can kind of get buried. So we'll make sure that you guys have those recordings until we get our Geek Out Academy membership up and running, which it does coincide with our continuity challenge. So don't worry, big things. We're going to share everything. So excited. So looking forward to having everybody there. So if you need help creating your continuity, specifically on the tech side and on the customer journey side, we have amazing things in store for you at the Create Continuity Challenge. And then from now until the next 13 days, we're going to be dripping on behind the scenes how we're actually doing it. And we'd be happy to answer any questions in our group. So until then, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and I will catch you in the Facebook group. Take care.